Shelley Lowe at Monkey and Dog Books, and the staff at Barnes & Noble for hosting the book signings this afternoon. We want to, yeah, that's good. We want to thank Joe Ownby. He's doing the photography. He will be doing the photos of the winners and all the finalists. And we would ask that you would check the Will Rogers Medallion Award site. The photos should be up by November 4th, but please keep checking back so you can find out then. At the end of our program, what we like to do is we want to get all of our finalists and all of our winners over to the side of there so we can do a group photo. So you can either be happy looking at that photo or say, what on earth did I do? So, I'd like to welcome Christine Hall, publisher of the Lone Star Literary Life. Thank you very much for being here. I'd be remiss if I didn't express my deep appreciation for the Will Rogers Medallion Award Program Secretary, Lori Cockrell. She is vital to the organization, and we could not do it without her, so thank you very much, Lori. Tonight's ceremony wouldn't be possible without the support of our sponsors. A sincere thank you to Wolfpack Publishing. Two Dot Books, the South Dakota Historical Society Press, and AGMA Creative Media. We hope everyone had an opportunity to bid on the wonderful auction items around the room. The funds raised for our silent auction will further support the efforts of the Will Rogers Medallion Award Program and allow us to continue to grow. We are a nonprofit organization and your contributions are much appreciated. We are here this evening to celebrate Western writers, cowboy poets, and the publishers who graciously contribute to Western literature. The goal of the Will Rogers Medallion Award Program is to recognize outstanding Western literature in its various forms, from novels to poetry, cookbooks to screenplays. Medallions are awarded to works that best exemplify the combination of excellent content and values honoring the cowboy heritage. The popular image of the cowboy in the world today was powerfully shaped by and owed a huge debt to Will Rogers. The calm, unexcitable reaction to both good and bad events, the use of humor to face adversity and bring it down to manageable portions, always displaying respect and reverence, the joy of a good horse, and the pull of the next hill. All of these were Will Rogers trademarks. The first Will Rogers Medallion Award was presented in 2003. The program has grown in the nearly 2 decades of its existence. Our entries for the competition this year more than doubled, and word about the award program reached industry leaders from New York to San Francisco. Before we present the Medallion Awards, Charles Williams, one of the founders of the award and former executive director, will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Charles, we ask that you please stand.
Before I start, I would like to present a brief background. Nearly 80 years ago, a tall, bearded, slightly stooped man stood in a field in southeastern Pennsylvania and asked if a nation conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal, could that nation, or any nation so conceived and so dedicated, long endure? He also said, and I quote, It cannot come from abroad. If destruction is to be our lot, we must ourselves be its author and finisher. About 3.5 years ago, after that event, and following a cataclysmic struggle, which again tested the survival of that nation, and if that nation could indeed triumph, an unlikely person used the new medium of television to renew and confirm that ideal and moral basis for that triumph. Tonight, I would like to review those remarks that Red Skelton made at a time when many of us are questioning unity and dedication and survival of that nation once more. I, me, an individual, a committee of one, pledge, dedicate all my worldly goods without self-pity, allegiance, my love and devotion, to the flag, our standard, old glory, a symbol of courage, and wherever she waves, there is respect because of your loyalty, giving her a dignity that shouts, freedom is everybody's job. Of the united, that means we've all come together. States, individual communities that have united into 48 great states. 48 individual communities with pride and dignity and purpose, all divided by imaginary boundaries, yet united to a common cause, and that cause is love of country, of America, and to the republic, a sovereign state in which power is invested in the representatives chosen by the people to govern. And the government is the people, and from the people to the leaders, not from the leaders to the people, for which it stands. One nation, meaning to be blessed by God. Indivisible, incapable of being divided. With liberty, which is freedom, the right of power of one person to live their own life without fears or threats or any fear of retaliation. And justice, one word, the principle and qualities of dealing fairly with others, for all. And that, it means, boys and girls, that it's as much your country as it is mine. Now, since Red and I were small boys, 2 states have been added to the Union, and 2 words have been added to the Pledge of Allegiance, under God. Wouldn't it be a pity if someone said, that's a prayer, and it was eliminated from our schools also? Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated.
As we announce the winners, please come to the front and receive your medallion, and then proceed to the Will Rogers Medallion Award backdrop to be photographed. Board member Harriet Lewis will assist. So we ask that you come. Harriet will take care of handing you your medallion, and then she'll escort you over to the area where you are to get your picture taken. award category is Western Romance. Western Romance is one of the most popular subgenres to date, and 5 books selected as finalists feature tales that are captivating and swoon-worthy. The first copper medallion goes to The Caballero's Son by Anne Schroeder and published by 5 Star. Judges praised the book, noting there were several enjoyable and unexpected twists and turns. This book is an enduring love story woven around the harshness and violence of the times. Along Came Jenny by Harlan Hegg also receives a copper medallion. Mix one strong-willed female with one emotionally wounded young war veteran. Add in a cattle drive to Kansas. The drive gives both of them time to grow accustomed to each other. He to find a reason to live, and her to find a man who loves her. Faults, strong will, and all, commented one of the judges. Not only does romance grow between the young couple, there is a romance of the land being crossed as well. Along Came Jenny was published by Wolfpack Publishing. The Bronze Medallion Award goes to Shannon Hatfield for her book, Sadie, published by Wholesome Hearts Publishing. One judge gushed, "I was enthralled with this book. While most of the story was about the way the people's roots and their families were of the West. What a great romance tale. I felt very connected to the characters and cared deeply for them." The Silver Medallion is awarded to 5-star author Susanna Lane for Imperfect Promise. "I enjoyed this story immensely," one of the 5 judges commented. "Lots of unexpected turns and a happy ending. Nice examples of what ranching life was like, as well as the wildness of the outlaws." The Will Rogers Medallion Award Gold Medallion winner for Western Romance goes to Holiday Hope by Shannon Hatfield. Holiday Hope was also published by Wholesale Hearts Publishing. Judges complimented by noting this novel was romantic from the get-go. Little touches of girl meets the wrong boy, boy is smitten, but he's too chicken to pursue her. It was lovely. Another judge wrote, "I loved everything about this book and can see this story being made into a Hallmark movie." Our next category is Western cookbooks. All I do when I go back to Oklahoma is just shake hands and eat. To be a good cook, you gotta be either naturally an experimenter or just naturally clumsy. Only a fool argues with a skunk, a mule, or a cook. Will Rogers' quotes on food came from the 2 cookbooks he penned himself. Chuckwagon cooking is still practiced, simple and still popular. Western cookbooks reflect this appreciation for simple, hearty meals and the creative use of easily obtainable ingredients that have become a tradition in the West. Charles Williams is the Bronze Medallion winner for his book, Cooking with Gas, The Quiet Revolution in Texas Kitchens, published by Cow Barn Cowboy. One judge wrote, "This book is very interesting, full of history, old recipes, and advertisements. It's well documented." The Silver Medallion winner is Sally Harper Bates. Her book, It's a Cowboy Christmas, was published by Arizona Cowboy Connection. Judges raved about It's a Cowboy Christmas and noted, "Love the stories, love the poems, recipes were tried and true. I'll be using many of them." Another judge wrote, "I love this cookbook. Lots of poignant, funny, and entertaining remembrances of Christmas on the ranch. Lots of great recipes. The Will Rogers Medallion Award Gold Medallion winner for Best Western Cookbook goes to Natalie Bright for Keeping Full and Keeping Learning. The All-American Chef Rogers Cookbook, published by Two Dot Books. Beautiful book overall, one of the judges boasted. There are fascinating pictures that give us a glimpse of past life lived out on the open range. There are helpful pictures of completed dishes to make any cowgirl hungry. Another judge commented, "This is a great book. I love the history and recipe. It's well organized and professionally bound. I loved it." Western short stories are a vibrant area of Western writing. This active and challenging art form, either as a collective work by one author or novelettes or by an author in an omnibus collection, is a highly competitive field. 3 short stories won copper medallions. The first, The Running Day by Richard Proch from Saddlebag Dispatch. One of the judges wrote, "Proch has offered up a tense, taut story filled with plenty of action and suspense." And Casey is here. Casey, will you be? Tiny Bob will be accepting for Richard Proch. Randy Samuelson Brown is awarded a copper medallion for her story, Too Much Dancing Going On, from the anthology Librarians of the West. "Such an engaging story, I couldn't put it down," raved one of the judges. Too Much Dancing Going On was published by 5 Star. Terrible and Wonderful by Candace Seymeyer is another 5-star published tale from the book Librarians of the West to receive a copper medallion. This was a great story of perseverance with characters that were spot on, with a heartwarming finish, judges noted. The bronze medallion in the category of Western fiction short stories is awarded to Mark Warren for The Cowboy, the Librarian, and the Broomsman. This story was also included in the anthology Librarians of the West, published by 5 Star. Warren's unique and original story could easily take its place alongside the classic tales penned by Mark Twain, Bret Harte, or O. Henry, one judge glowingly remarked. Clever premise and perfectly drawn characters, and a climax sure to leave readers chuckling for days. Author Phil Mills Jr. is our Silver Medallion winner. His short story entitled Cold the Bitter Heart was included in the anthology Perilous Frontier, published by 5 Star. Judges noted Cold the Bitter Heart is a soulful story. Another noted Mills' story is a terrific blend of traditional Western and atmospheric, moody crime story. It was a pleasure to read. The Will Rogers Medallion Award Gold Medallion winner for Best Western Fiction Short Story belongs to Charlotte Hinger for The Book Month, which was published by Five Star and can be found in the anthology, believe it or not, Librarians of the West. Written in a realistic manner of the times with authentic voices and scenes, a tale of learning and overcoming prejudice in the Old West, one of the judges wrote. Another commented, "Book Mama is riveting. I was on the edge of my seat." The Western Nonfiction Young Readers Illustrated category celebrates books that introduce reading to children, sometimes too young to read, that help them develop a language skill that serve them the rest of their lives. The pictures serve to not only hold the reader's interest, but also link images and emotions to those printed words. The bronze medallion goes to Cowboys, Cowchips, and Taradiddles by Darby Carshute. The illustrations were done by Wes Carshute, and the book was published by Copper Square Studios. Cowboys, Cowchips, and Taradiddles is a wonderful introduction of the cowboy life for young readers, praised one judge. This is a delightful, humorous book describing and defining cowboy lingo, added another. The Heart of a Cowboy by Mary Fichtner, illustrated by Rosalind Fichtner, receives the, and I'm sorry, Mary, I'm sorry, receives the silver medallion. Judges noted this is a sort of Gene Autry, Roy Rogers, like how a cowgirl should act, and in this case, told in verse. A beautiful poem with adorable illustrations. Mary incorporates prudent life lessons and an aspirational character traits for young readers to learn and emulate. The Will Rogers Medallion Award Gold Medallion winner for Best Western Nonfiction, Young Readers Illustrated, goes to Montana History for Kids in 50 Objects, with 50 fun activities by Steph Lehman, illustrated by Steph Lehman, and published by Far Country Press. One judge wrote, "This book provides clever and creative ways to teach Montana history. As an added bonus, the diversity of the topics and related projects will appeal to kids of all interests." Illustrations in picture books can be an excellent tool for developing children's analytical and interpretive skills, as well as enhancing their enjoyment of art. The finalists in the category of Western Fiction Young Readers Illustrated have created picture books that are works of art worthy of adorning the walls of art galleries and libraries. The winner of the silver medallion is Coco, the miniature dwarf horse by Doug Morgan Schmidt, illustrated by Sabra Arnold Groom, and published by Pivot Point Publishing. One judge wrote, "This book is a touching tale about a dwarf horse that is abused by his owners and develops a serious anger problem. Acquired by new sympathetic owners, Coco learns to control his anger and experiences love for the first time." Another judge noted, "This book offers important lessons about anger management and not being cruel to animals. It's a sweet and important story." Dove's friends are here to accept on her behalf. The Will Rogers Award Gold Medallion winner for Best Western Fiction Young Readers Illustrated goes to Charlie Russell and the Gnomes of Bullhead Lodge by Emily Crawford Wilson, illustrated by Gene Bowman and published by the South Dakota Historical Society Press. One judge commented, this is an enchanting story that young readers will love. It's a beautifully illustrated magical tale." Another judge remarked, "This is a delightful tale that explains the artistic process so creatively for children." Do we have people here to accept on their behalf? Okay, we're keeping it. Thank you very much. And now to present the next series of awards is Will Rogers Medallion Award winner and Will Rogers Medallion Award board member, Preston Lewis.
Thank you, Chris, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's always a pleasure to be with this group and to receive an introduction by such a fine author and person as Chris Ince. And it's also great to be in a room with so many talented, creative people whose works I admire and whose work continue to share the great heritage of the American West. I'd also like to just make a special acknowledgement to Christine Hall with Lone Star Literary Life, who's here with us this evening. She is a major proponent of Texas Letter and supporter of Texas authors, so thank you, Christine. Each year, the WRMA Medallion Awards names an Illustrator of the Year, and the winner of this year's Illustrator of the Year award is Jean Bowman. Jean graduated with a Bachelor of Arts from Rocky Mountain College in Billings, Montana in 2010, and she has illustrated 2 picture books, The Selfish Giant by Oscar Wilde Familius and Charlie Russell and the Gnomes of Bullhead Lodge by Emily Crawford Wilson. South Dakota Historical Society Press was the publisher. She has exhibited work at the Yellowstone Art Museum in Billings, Montana, the Harwood Gallery in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and the Mondack Heritage Center in Sidney, Montana, where she currently lives. She paints in watercolor, but is also branching out into new medium like digital. She loves folklore and fantasy and grew up believing in fairies and little folk and the mysteries of the forest. So congratulations to Jean, who unfortunately could not be with us tonight. Now, there's something about the American West that brings out the best in ordinary men and women. From the very earliest settlers to the colorful inhabitants who people it today, there are a myriad of interesting and significant lives being lived before our eyes. The first Copper Medallion winner in the category of Western biographies and memoirs goes to Backtracking in Memory, The Life of Charles M. Russell, Artist, by Tom Petrie and Brian Dippy, published by the C.M. Russell Museum and Sweetgrass Books. One judge noted, "I love reading this life of Charles Russell from the perspective of the person who probably knew him best. This was a great, entertaining read." Thank you.
Preston?
Yes.
This comes to 2 representatives from the CM Russell, Mr. Figueroa and Mr. Figueroa.
Oh, okay.
There he is.
I'm sorry. Now, this is Thomas Figueroa. Carol Lipscomb's book, titled The Lady Made Boots, published by Texas Tech University Press, also wins a Copper Medallion. Judges noted Lipscomb's work that this is an exceptional biography of a woman trailblazer in a realm previously dominated by men. Another judge wrote, "What a great story. I love that Enid Justin stood her ground and worked for what she wanted at a time when women typically weren't business owners." Carol Lipscomb.
All right, Carol!
The book, The Life and Times of Joe Morrow by Peter Hiller, is the winner of the Bronze Medallion. Published by Gibbs Smith Books, judges noted that The Life and Times of Joe Morrow is compelling. The author has produced a needed biography of an underrated artist. Morrow has a tie to Will Rogers in creating more than a dozen dioramas that are displayed in the Will Rogers Museum in Claremore, Oklahoma. This quality biography matches the talent of the man whose life it chronicles. Author Bill Markley is the winner of the Silver Medallion for his book, The Honor of City Boys, Leaders of the Legendary West, published by Two Dot Books. Judges noted that Markley's book is a sensitive and insightful dual biography of perhaps the two most famous Native Americans of the 19th century. The author weaves together the often parallel stories of the leaders using both Indian and Anglo sources in a well-documented book that provides a coherent and perceptive story of the unsuccessful efforts of both men to preserve their people's traditions. The Will Rogers Medallion Award Gold Medallion winner for Best Biography and Memoir goes to Chris Ince for her book, The Lady and the Mountain Man. Isabella Bird, Rocky Mountain Jones, Judges remarked that The Lady and the Mountain Man was a well-written, fascinating story about an extraordinary woman. Lots of pictures and well-researched. Another judge noted, what an unlikely and fascinating pair. A well-written account of their adventure that any Western history buff would want to know about. So congratulations to all the recipients in that category. Photography in the West has had a long and distinguished history. As soon as photography became a practical art in the mid-1800s, photographers went west. Present-day photographers are continuing in this rich tradition of recording people, landscape, events, and images of that unique place known as the American West. The bronze medallion in the category of Western photographic essay is awarded to The Long Trail Home by C.J. Hadley and Carolyn Dufarina. The Long Trail Home was published by Range magazine. One judge noted, in a volume that is as deeply personal as it is historical, C.J. Hadley and Carolyn Dufarina have compiled a volume of historic and heartfelt stories. The color photographs and historic images that abound in this excellent tome help visualize each tale. The Oklahomans, the story of Oklahoma and its people, by John J. Dyer, published by Red River Press, is the winner of the Silver Medallion. One judge noted, never has the story of this great land of Oklahoma and its people been told like John Dyer does it. Another judge remarked, the Oklahomans is masterfully written. It chronicles the saga of the winning and the losing of a land. Some of the most famous cowboys, Indians, lawmen, outlaws, and explorers in American history stride across the pages of this unforgettable story. The Will Rogers Gold Medallion Award for Best Photographic Essays goes to Happy Trails, a pictorial celebration of the life and times of Roy Rogers and Dale Evans by Howard Kazanjian and Chris Ince. Published by Trafalgar Square Books of Happy Trails, one judge commented, this is a wonderful collection of images featuring the iconic Western singing duo. The authors have produced a wonderful send-up to the golden age of Hollywood and two of the silver screen's most beloved and recognizable stars. Another judge wrote, I was immersed in the history of this famous pair of truly iconic actors. It made me wish they were still here making movies to teach my kids good moral values and ethics. Congratulations.
Humor in its many forms is as vital, as ingrained in Western life and tradition as our hospitality and optimism. Will Rogers set the bar exceedingly high indeed for written Western humor. The Will Rogers Medallion Award Program is proud to honor those who follow in his footsteps for not only doing what they need to do to provide amusement, insight, and lightheartedness. They ease the stresses and strains of everyday living with smiles, grins, chuckles, and best of all, laughter. The bronze medallion winner in the Western humor category is Cat Tales of the Old West, Poems, Puns, and Perspectives on Frontier Felines by Preston Lewis, published by Nebraska Press. Preston Lewis has taken the seldom considered and rarely discussed subjects of cats in the Old West and given the reader an often humorous but always educational up-close look, noted one judge. Another wrote, Lewis's collection of cat tales, poems, and commentary is wonderfully researched and informative. The concept alone is seductive. The magic lies within the quotes of this gem of a niche book of humor. John Phillips' book entitled 4 Miles West of Nowhere, published by Pronghorn Press, earned a silver medallion. Precision is John Phillips' trademark, and his range is as broad as the West, one of the judges boasted. His devotion to detail and historical environmental context is laudable, as is his penchant for the spot-on word. This book is about the funniest book I've ever read, remarked another judge. Still another judge noted, really good and funny. Will Rogers would be proud. The Will Rogers Medallion Award Gold Medallion winner in the category of Best Western Humor is the book Murder at Buckskin Joe by J.V.L. Bell, published by River Barons Media. This book checks all the boxes for ideal humorous Western novel, wrote one judge. The characters are engaging and well portrayed. Another judge glowingly commented, the author has taken a murder mystery during Colorado's gold mining days and mixed in several unforgettable characters along with the fainting goat. Great story. The Golden Lariat Award honors individuals whose contributions of time and talent to the Will Rogers Medallion Award program have enhanced the success of awards in preserving and promoting the spirits of the American West through Western literature. The Golden Lariat pays homage to Will Rogers, who began his show business career as a trick roper. Later, he presented Golden Lariat Awards to cowboys and cowgirls who excelled at trick roping. We are proud to announce the recipient of the 2022 Golden Lariat for outstanding service and dedication to the art of storytelling about the American West to Juanetta Osmus. During her more than 10 years service to the Will Rogers Medallion Award program, she served as a board member, hostess, judge, advisor, and consultant. Juanetta helped establish the award weekend's Friday night meet and greet and proved the inspiration and the tradition of the event's hospitality. Congratulations. The Lifetime Achievement Award recognizes authors, publishers, and illustrators who have made significant contributions to Western literature throughout their careers. The recipient of the 2022 Lifetime Achievement Award is New York Times bestselling author Robert Vaughn. More than 500 books, 80% of those Westerns to his credit, and over 10,000 fictional characters springing from his creative mind. And I sat with him tonight, and he's got a creative mind. He came up with like 5 different stories while we were just sitting there. Robert Vaughn of Gulf Shores, Alabama, is a most deserving recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Will Rogers Medallion Award. Vaughn sold his first book when he was 19, with 7 of his subsequent volumes appearing on the New York Times bestseller list, including 2 at number 1. His previous honors include a Pulitzer Prize nomination, a Lifetime Achievement Award from Western Fictioneers, induction into the American Writers Hall of Fame, and a 1994 Spur Award for Best Original Paperback from Western Writers of America. Congratulations, Robert. And thank you for
How's it? Well, when I heard I was getting the Lifetime Achievement Award, I was kind of honored and pleased, and then I started thinking about it. I'm 85 years old. Lifetime Achievement, does that mean it's It's over? It gave me pause for thought. I have to tell you that. I'll share something with you about a little secret of mine about writing. I can't touch paper. And it's just like some people can't squeal their fingernails on the blackboards. I can't touch paper, and so before the computer, I would write something, but Ruth would have to take the pages out of the printer for me and stack them up. I had an awful time reading books until the Kindle, and I liked the Kindle because you could just swipe it across like that. But this has been a big problem of mine, and I have to tell you, once in church, the priest was giving the announcements, and he was standing up in front, and he had the cue sheet, and he was doing this as he was talking to us, and it was just getting on me. And finally I said, "Dan, stop!" For some strange reason, everybody in church just turned around and stared at me. But I've said enough, because I'll have to answer it to Ruth later. So thank you a whole lot.
Yeah, you have to go outside and then come around. I don't want to start and then something bad happen, so. Look at that, nice job. Stories of cowboys and cowgirls and the Wild West have long captivated the attention and imagination of young readers. From stories of sheriffs and outlaws to rodeos and cattle drives, nothing captures the excitement, danger, and adventure of life in the saddle like children's books. The first Copper Medallion Award winner in the category of Western Fiction Young Readers is The Snatcher by E.S. Jameson, published by Paper Trail Publishing. Jameson did a good job creating an easy-to-read story of the complex period of corruption, one judge wrote. Another noted, The Snatcher is moving and unique. The second Copper Medallion Award winner is Silver Grass by John D. Nesbitt, published by Five Star. One judge remarked, Silver Grass is faithful to all the traditional Western tropes: greedy, power-hungry ranchers, struggling homesteaders, a Western town under siege, and an unlikely hero. Another judge wrote, this book shares the harsh concept of doing the right thing versus holding a job that keeps you afloat. It also gives readers a good idea of the harsh reality that early settlers faced. Forging Through Unknowns, The Sea Girl's Alaskan Adventure by K.B. Taylor, published by Boot Top Books, is the winner of the Bronze Medallion. One judge called Forging Through Unknowns a great adventure for kids to learn about the 19th century Alaskan coastal towns. Another judge wrote, this was an interesting book because the story was loosely based on the author's own family history. The descriptions of the landmarks and towns are superbly detailed, as are the characters visiting on the excursion up White Pass with prospectors and suppliers that make the treacherous journey. The Silver Medallion Award goes to Cowboyhood by S.J. Dahlstrom, published by Paul Dry Books. This book is going on my shelf. My bookshelf is a favorite, praised one judge. S.J. Dahlstrom is always an entertaining read, offering valuable life lessons to his fans, commented another. The Will Rogers Medallion Award Gold Medallion winner in the category of Best Western Fiction Young Readers goes to Bats, Bandits, and Buggies by Nancy Oswald, published by Burroughs Books. One judge wrote, "This is a book I thoroughly enjoyed reading. I wish Nancy Oswald would have been around when I was younger. I would have read everything she wrote." A delightful read that includes an innovative heroine and a donkey sidekick makes for a wonderful kid read that slides in lessons of late 19th century innovations, added another judge. Western nonfiction young reader books cover everything topic-wise that adult nonfiction Westerns cover. There are memoirs and biographies, histories of events or individuals who changed the course of those historical events set on the American frontier, personal essay collections, and more. The Will Rogers Medallion Award Gold Medallion winner in the category of Best Western Nonfiction Young Readers is Why Cows Need Cowboys and Other Seldom Told Tales from the American West. Why Cows Need Cowboys is Western Writers of America's first nonfiction anthology for young readers, edited by a Spur Award-winning author Nancy Plain and Spur finalist Rocky Gibbons. Why Cows Need Cowboys is published by Two Dot Books. One judge noticed, as a historical trivia lover from childhood, this would have been a favorite when I was a kid. Another remarked, this well-written book is not only informative, but entertaining to read. The contributors are all well-known and respected Western authors and historians with a wealth of knowledge that make this book a delight. A mystery novel set in the American West that follows a crime, typically a murder or disappearance from start to finish. It involves a closed circle of suspects where each suspect is provided with a credible motive and a reasonable opportunity for committing a crime. The genre is for readers that like their crime more on the rules side. The first Copper Medallion winner in the Western Mystery category goes to G. Wayne Tillman for his book Tahoe Gunfight, published by Wolfpack. This story is a great mystery plot that held my attention, one judge raved. The author's knowledge of weapons and procedure of law are second to none. Another judge commented, this was a super interesting read, refreshing in so many ways. Will Brandon's book, A Wolf Hunt, A Tale of Texas Badlands, published by 5 Star, also receives a Copper Medallion. One judge praised this is a fascinating read. The author brings in several historical figures, and the geography is so well described, I felt like I was right there. The action is great. I felt I was in the book itself. Still another judge gushed, this book is an amazing retelling of my favorite Sherlock Holmes book, The Hound of the Baskervilles. But it has even more surprise and insane revelations than in the original. It's really a charming and atmospheric book. The Bronze Medallion belongs to Miner's Moon, a Nellie Burns and Moonshine mystery by Julie Weston, published by 5 Star. This book is riveting, noted one judge. In addition to the unique story with the strong female protagonist at the helm, it highlights the plight of miners back in the day and just how dangerous it was in the mines physically and mentally. Another judge remarked, the historical background is accurate and the descriptions of the mine and photography are very interesting. I could not wait to read what came next. Laying Bones by Revis Z. Wortham is the winner of the Silver Medallion, published by Poison Pen Press. One judge called the book excellent and noted, I was enthralled by the different twists and turns. It was wholly satisfying. Another judge noted, I got caught up in the story and loved every moment of it. Well written and original. The Will Rogers Medallion Award Gold Medallion winner in the category of Best Western Mystery is Craig Johnson. for his book, Daughter of the Morning Star, published by Viking Books. This addition to the Longmire series is inspired, one of the judges commented. Daughter of the Morning Star is an engaging and dark mystery that includes little-known true events regarding the disappearance of a young Native woman in the U.S. The dialogue is unique and direct, another judge noted. A bit of a cliffhanger at the end left me wanting more. Craig would have been here, but he was threatened with divorce if he didn't go through with the cruise his wife said we were going on. The Will Rogers Medallion Award honors work that illuminates faith and action. Books in this category contain stories of people who overcome adversity or reach levels of understanding that inspire and encourage the reader to do the same. The Songstress by Lori Bates Wright, published by Sierra Vista Books, is the winner of the Copper Medallion. One judge gushed, "This is an inspiring tale of grit and gumption by a beautiful rising opera star, finely written page-turner that grabs the reader's attention and won't let it go." Another judge noted, "This engaging story is exceptionally well told."
Said it before.
The Rancher's Legacy by Susan Page Davis also receives a Copper Medallion. The Rancher's Legacy was published by Scribner's Press. This book is much more than just another Western romance, one of the judges wrote. The faith required in the search for the main character's loved ones is a truly inspirational tale. The clever tale is well done and a fun read, noted another judge. This fine story dares to ask how far love will go to protect a family. The Bronze Medallion goes to Deborah Whiting Alexander for her book, A River of Gemma, published by the Wild Rose Press. A River for Gemma kept me guessing almost the entire time, wrote one judge. Just when I thought I knew where we were going, the plot would twist. Gemma may be one of my favorite contemporary characters of all time, and I enjoyed spending time in her world. Some of the authors weren't here this evening because of the storms that were here, and their flights got completely canceled and couldn't get here at all. But congratulations to them. Author Patrick Deeren and his book Haunted Border wins the Silver Medallion. Haunted Border was published by Five Star, and one judge commented, "Exceptional tale. I don't doubt the level of research that entered into his creation. It was clever, and the author worked hard to make each character multidimensional and believable, even when they weren't likable." The Will Rogers Medallion Award Gold Medallion winner in the category of Best Western Inspirational Fiction goes to Sally Harper Bates for Rusty's Remuda, published by Arizona Cowboy Connection. Rusty's attitude toward life, horse, and cows is clearly a set of rules for life as any list from Gene Autry or Roy Rogers, one judge boasted. "This is the little book that could," praised another judge. It is a compelling and inspiring story, beautifully written about ranch life. Sally Harper Bates paints an empathetic and inspiring picture of the growth of a young man in the time that he was born. Congratulations to all the winners.
This organization has a Western Maverick Award. This category was added in response to many requests and many submissions which did not comfortably fit in one of the other categories. As the name suggests, these are books that are just a little different, but still of award-winning quality. The Copper Medallion winner in the Western Maverick category goes to David G. Thomas in his book, The Trial of Billy the Kid, published by Doc 45 Publishing. Judges noted that Thomas sheds light on an obscure portion of Billy the Kid's brief and controversial life, his trial for murder. It is a good read filled with interesting facts and enlightening interpretations. Downriver South by Greg Hunt is the bronze medallion winner, published by 5 Star. Judges noted Downriver South will keep readers intrigued from the beginning to the end. Hunt knows how to spin a yarn of adventure and intrigue, keeping the reader interested with every turn of the page. Author John L. Moore's book, Blue Man, is the winner of the silver medallion. You do not just read a John L. Moore book, you enter another world populated by people more real than reality, more interesting than a rodeo, and quirkier than late-night TV, judges noted. Blue Man is a wild ride through the current halls of political power as experienced by a Montana cowboy with a strange gift and his cowboy cartoonist sidekick with a firm grasp of alternate reality. Now, the Will Rogers Medallion Gold Award winner in this category of Best Western Maverick is Lakota Cowboy by John Hafner. Published by Speaking Volumes, Judges feel Lakota Cowboy has an excellent book and added it is diligently researched and beautifully written account which details the lives of 2 men from different worlds during the 1800s. Although one is a Lakota Sioux and the other a white rancher, their paths cross and they become lifelong friends. Lakota Cowboy demonstrates the changing world of both men and details their struggles alongside their friendship. It is a must-read for all who love the history of the Old West. Congratulations to all the Maverick winners. History is amazing and flexible, and there are 2 types of history. History written by learned and erudite researchers, and history written by ordinary people recalling their lives, their beliefs, and their expertise. Neither is complete without the other. The first Copper Medallion winner in the Western nonfiction category is Murder at the Mission, a frontier killing, its legacy and lies, and the taking of the American West by Blaine Harden. It was published by Viking Books. One judge wrote, "This is a stirring account of one of the most egregious acts of racism and bigotry in Western American history." Harden is absolutely fearless in telling of the horrendous lies that were told about the killings of Whitman and his family and the terrible acts of revenge that were brought against the native people of Walla Walla. Another judge noted Harden is a compelling and immensely talented writer and historian, and his passion for the truth is unparalleled. Author David A. Wolf's book, The Savior of Deadwood, published by South Dakota Historical Society Press, also receives a Copper Medallion. This book is an in-depth focus on the impact of an entrepreneur on the struggling South Dakota town in the gold rush days of the late 19th century. The bibliography is substantial, a judge commented, and the tale is told with engaging prose. Another judge reported, "This book has a clear view of its subject, a good historical overview, and a steady and competent prose style." Military Wives in Arizona Territory, A History of Women Who Shaped the Frontier by Jan Clear, published by 2 Dot Books, wins the bronze medallion. One judge rated, Jan Clear brings these stories of tough and resourceful military women out of obscurity. Joining their military husbands, these women endured numerous hardships. Another judge noted, Military Wives is compelling history of the American West. Congratulations. The Silver Medallion Award goes to Iron Women, the ladies who helped build the railroad, by Chris Ince and published by 2 Dot Books. Iron Women is a valuable addition to the history of American railroads, one judge noted. Another judge wrote, Chris Ince pens a book that is both informative and a good read. Along with the excellent footnoting, there can be no question as to the book's accuracy. It is also brings lesser known but important characters to the forefront of history. The Will Rogers Medallion Gold Award in the category of Best Best Western Nonfiction goes to Confederates and Comancheros, Skullduggery and Double Dealing in the Texas-New Mexico Borderlands by James Bailey Blackshear and Glenn Sample Ely. The gold medallion winning book was published by the University of Oklahoma Press. Blackshear and Ely have assembled an enormous amount of historical material to tell a fascinating tale, one judge boasted. Another one commented, "This is a book with meticulous footnoting and easy readability. The more you get into it, the better it gets." Congratulations to all in this category.
We only have 2 more hours to go, so, just settle in. Traditional Western fiction is a genre of literature set in the American Old West frontier before 1900. Modern Western fiction is set after 1900. The West is that area bounded by the edge of civilization and terra incognita. At various times in our history, it has been the Ohio Valley, Appalachia, and anything west of the Mississippi River. It has stretched from the Arctic Circle to Central America, but mostly from lower Canada to central Mexico. D. Laszlo Konheim's book published by Broken Arrow Press entitled The Unredeemed receives the copper medallion. One of the judges observed about the book, as the Western expansion continued in our country, constant clashes between settlers and Native Americans kept hostilities fraught with injustice on both sides. D. Laszlo Konheim demonstrates these dilemmas in his brilliant story, and we, the reader, are witness to the plights of captured children by desperate tribes during the time period, and we are swept along the journey of those who attempt their rescue.
Where's Tom? Tom.
Want to grab a picture with you? I'll always take a picture with you. Sure, we'll take it together. You want to do a selfie together?
Lost Mountain Pass by Larry D. Swayze, published by Kensington, also receives a copper medallion. Action-packed, noted one judge. Lost Mountain Pass will keep you on the edge of your seat until the end. Another judge remarked, Larry D. Swayze's novel about a murderous family and the revenge enacted upon those who attempt to stop their vile action leads the reader on a spellbinding adventure. It's well written and filled with intrigue. Old Dogs by Ron Schwab, published by Leafcutter Publishing, is the recipient of the bronze medallion. When aging and for the most part retired, good friends go on one last hurrah together. Adventure abounds in Ron Schwab's Old Dogs. One of the judges praised, if you're a fan of reading about the stalwart hero who risks it all to keep a promise and provide for those he loves, then you will not want to miss this book. The winner of the silver medallion goes to Mark Warren for his book, Indigo Heaven, published by 5 Star. Indigo Heaven is a Western classic, one judge insisted. Another judge noted that Mark Warren paints us a beautiful picture with his word palette. It's a unique Western novel, sure to please anyone seeking a different read from the ordinary tale. The Will Rogers Medallion Award Gold Medallion winner in the category of Best Western Fiction Traditional belongs to Never Let Go, Survival of the Lake Sheetuck Women by Pamela Nowak. Published. Judges hailed Never Let Go as excellent in every way. Pamela Nowak's book is masterfully written and researched, the judges added. It is a tribute to the human spirit and the resilience of the frontier women who risked everything to rear a family in the wilderness. Our next category is Western Fiction Modern, and the first copper medallion goes to Deanna Dickinson McCall for her book, The Oki's Daughter, published by Whitebird Publications. Judges said of Dickinson's work, The Oki's Daughter is an unsentimental, satisfying, whatever happened to the story of a group of interesting high school girls as they unite later in life. Multi-talented author Deanna Dickinson McCall leads poetic insight, the clear-eyed realism of a rancher in this readable account of the success, failures, and small victories of women shaped by the migration of the Dust Bowl people from the Midwest to California. Heidi M. Thomas's book, Rescuing Hope, published by Suncaster Publications, also receives a copper medallion. One judge noted, all Western fans realize that horses are often used to help those with special needs. And Heidi M. Thomas's Rescuing Hope builds a story around the effectiveness of this practice. In the midst of her own life setback, the book's main character, Samantha, never fails to help others, putting her own needs aside. Far Blue Mountains by Max McNabb, published by Max McNabb, receives the bronze medallion. One judge commented, Far Blue Mountains is a beautifully written book that brings to life the conflicting ways of life among Apaches, Mexicans, and Anglos. I didn't want this book to end, another judge noted. For those who enjoyed novels written about actual historical events, this book provides a lively read. It's brilliantly written. The silver medallion goes to Larry D. Swayze for his book, Winter Seeks Out, The Lonely, published by Five Star. This book was so suspenseful, I skimmed ahead to see what would happen, and I rarely do that, admitted one judge. Wonderfully written, noted another. Winter Seeks Out, The Lonely is a moving and delightful mystery ride. The Will Rogers Medallion Award Gold Medallion winner in the category of Best Western Fiction Modern goes to The Healing of Natalie Curtis by Jane Kirkpatrick. The Healing of Natalie Curtis was published by Revel. One word describes this book, and that one word is masterpiece, praised one judge. Another judge commented, Jane Kirkpatrick tells us of the astonishing work of true life musicians and social justice warrior. Natalie Curtis, as she seeks to document the musical melodies, stories, and rhythms of Native Americans before they disappear. Congratulations to all our winners. Cowboy poetry is a tradition of work, poetry, performance poetry that grew out of the 19th century improvisational entertainment practices of isolated crews of cattle drovers and ranch hands. The roots of the Will Rogers Medallion Award go back to cowboy poetry, and specifically to the Buck Ramsey Poetry Book Award presented at the Academy of Western Artists and Award Program. The silver medallion in the category of cowboy poetry recorded goes to Dove Tales by Dove Morgan Schmidt, published by Dove Morgan Schmidt. Judges commented that Mrs. Schmidt's narration was exceptional and her selection poetic. Her friends come to accept the award for her. The Will Rogers Medallion Award Gold Medallion winner in the category of cowboy poetry recorded goes to Deep Tracks by Marlene Busman, published by Cameron Valley Publishing. One judge noted, Busma is a self-assured reader. The confidence in her voice is commanding and quintessentially Western in its best oral tradition. Another judge noted, her poetic talents and ability to spin delightful words into meaningful stories captured me from the get-go. Her poems were memorable, and the narration added just the right amount of emotion and emphasis to key parts of her poetry. And In the category of cowboy poetry written, the bronze medallion winner is Betty Lynn McCarthy for After Sundown, published by Silver Publishing. Judges noted how well they liked Miss McCarthy's variety of subjects, philosophies, and moods. Her rhymes are so thought out and well presented. The messages and morals to the stories were entertaining, believable, and not overly repetitive. Marlene Busman's poetry book, Deep Tracks, published by Dameron Valley Publishing, is the winner of the Silver Medallion. She is a terrific poet with unquestionable range and talent, one judge raved. Her book had a variety of entries, each of which held rhyme and lasting sense of emotion and imagination. She knows the ranching life intimately, and that proves loud and clear in her work. The Will Rogers Medallion Award Gold Medallion winner in the category of cowboy poetry written belongs to Bruce Roseland for Heart of the Prairie. One judge commented, Roseland's talent for weaving a thought, a memory, or scene from everyday life on the ranch or out on the range masterfully takes you into his vision as he tells his poetic tales. The range of his imagination and attention to detail was pleasing. Another judge noted Bruce Roseland's books of poems is melodious, soothing, and prayerful, not boastful. The poems are approachable, conversational, confessional. They are meditations on daily life on the South Dakota prairie. We have a long-standing tradition at the Will Rogers Medallion Award Banquet. We read aloud a poem from the Gold Medallion winner's book. This year the poem will be presented by Harriet Lewis, our Vanna White for this evening. And it is entitled, On Some Days I'm Already There. Board member and Will Rogers Medallion winner, because you just won. Yeah. Harriet Lewis will read Bruce's poem.
Stay on my tiptoes. On some days, I'm already there. Morning arose like a cathedral as I drove down a lightly traveled country road from one late fall chore to the next, a skim of gray-blue clouds overhead. To the east, turquoise sky. The sun, not yet breaking the horizon, shone stained glass ruby light. Cattle grazed across fenced pastures, pulling fall-rained green grass into contented mouths, their yet-to-be weaned big-bellied calves keeping pace alongside them. Because of cooler weather, their tails were no longer swatting flies. Flights of mallard ducks rested in small scattered groups in shallow roadside pools, the males' green heads and the quieter browns of the females mixing in a slow, paddling dance on weedy waters. Weathered brown bales were scattered across hayfields, packages of sunshine waiting to be moved to stockyards. The light of the new day climbed with each mile I drove, touching the highest clouds and sky with a white rosy shine. I imagined if I were to be released from my own eternal rest and come back to this day, I would think this paradise.
Bravo!
We have come to the end of the 19th Annual Will Rogers Medallion Award presentation. The Will Rogers Medallion Award board members congratulate the medallion winners and offer our sincere thanks to the more than 90 judges who offered their expertise, many of whom were teachers and librarians. Thanks again to this year's sponsors, Wolfpack Publishing, Books, South Dakota Historical Press, and Ogma Creative Media. Submissions for the 20th Annual Will Rogers Medallion Award will open on November 1st. We look forward to receiving your entries and thank you in advance for supporting the Will Rogers Medallion Award program. Before I say my last little thing, I want to remind you that if you purchased an item, that you're going to be paying Harriet Lewis at the front table. So pick up your item, take it to Harriet, and then please, all the finalists, all of the medallion winners, please meet over here at with the photographer when we want to take a group photo. I'd like to close with one last quote from Will Rogers. Remember, write your congressman. Even if he can't read, write to him. Good night.